Amnesia the Bunker is the newest entry into the Amnesia series, and in my opinion is the scariest because you play as a French soldier. But on the bright side, this game gives you a gun to actually defend yourself, and is much less of a walking simulator than Rebirth was. Through the game, you have to salvage for supplies and find core items to blast your way to freedom, as you have been purposely closed into this bunker for being French. I won't be repeating this joke, I swear. But what if we said, screw having fun, and play this game like it's 2023, where the supply chain is so fucking tiny that you can't even find a fucking band-aid in a military bunker, and run around in the dark like you're playing one of those custom stories from Amnesia the Dark Descent, where you're running in circles in a library for an entire hour, trying to find a key tucked away in a corner to progress the story, only to softlock yourself by deciding to use the door twice. There is no name for this challenge, so let's just say this. Can you beat Amnesia the Bunker with all sliders on max difficulty without any glitches? In the Halloween update for Amnesia the Bunker, they added in shell shock difficulty as well as a custom difficulty setting, where you can adjust many aspects of the game, such as generator fuel consumption, monster aggressiveness, amount of traps placed around the map, how resistant the monster is, save functionality, so on and so forth. In this challenge, the monster never retreats from any kind of damage, finding necessary items is borderline impossible, and getting killed at any point sends me straight back to the beginning of the game. Not too long ago, I did a stream myself of doing this challenge, but the old world I streamed on had the worst RNG known to man. Not only did I have the rats in the worst spots, but literally had no grenade or gun to progress the game. Since it was basically impossible to get the arsenal code, I literally had to resort to brute forcing the arsenal code, or somehow getting the monster to attack an explosive barrel on a lock in the soldiers' quarters, which I was not going to do. So I started a whole new world, and for some reason started the recording way the hell down here. Either way, my first objective was to get the red wheel to turn off the lockdown. In the Psycho Man's room, I find an additional inventory slot to turn my inventory capacity from 3 to 4, and the code to get the red wheel. I salvage the place for anything of value, but all I find is paper and pictures. I fail the fat ass check and make my way to the lockers. Putting the wheel in, I am now 1/4 of the way done with the campaign. On the way to get the arsenal code, I found a convenient brick and throw it at this door.
Hey, this isn't water. This is gas.
Bleeding heavily from a light burn to my shoes, I salvage to find a band-aid to stop the bleeding, only to give up and load a checkpoint. Back at the start, I do the exact same thing you just saw, but this time finding the best loot box in the world. A random grenade next to a slab of meat. A mouse tool to use for later. Putting the wheel back on, I re-enter the soldiers' quarters, and quite literally do the same fucking thing again. Back at the start, I do the exact same thing you just saw for the 3rd time in a row. After finally breaking the door, I spin around in circles trying to find the key to the communications room, only to give up and go for the locked gate, to have the radio powered on when I turn on the generator, as I will only be using the generator for prime objectives, and only when it is absolutely necessary. My grenade sets off a gas tank, so I was forced to wait it out. In the meantime, I barricaded one of the monster's holes with every movable object in the room. After waiting forever, I start marching up to the gas to throw hands with it, only for it to disappear faster than my partner's satisfaction in bed. Finding the one medkit of this entire playthrough, spoiler alert, I head out and continue looking for the communications key. After literally having to break down a door to discover who owns the key, I finally find the key and put in this fuse thingy. With the door unlocked, I head back to the safe house. Speaking of which, the devs forgot to make the generator door wooden like the 2 upstairs, so their claim of the safe room no longer being safe is a lie. With the power on, I rush to get the arsenal code.
Anyone left? The code is 7, 2, 4, 6.
Having the code, I rush back to base and turn the generator off right before it runs out of fuel. In Arsenal, I check to make sure that I am on the right difficulty because this was surprisingly easy despite having the monster AI harder than Shell Shock. Speaking of easy, it turns out the arsenal code in this world was literally 1 number away from being unlocked. Now knowing that I have the perfect speedrunning seed, I proceed into Arsenal to get the dynamite, and having just enough meat to distract the rats here and the ones that will spawn by the corpses when leaving. Now having the dynamite, I attempt to get around these pesky rats because any sort of damage is basically like walking on a landmine. Closing the little box, I found freedom, only to encounter the monster and for some reason run directly into these rats, probably thinking if I don't look at them, they won't see me. I step over a grenade trap and explode, somehow not having meat when coming back to Arsenal. I think about jumping over the rats with this explosive barrel only for the monster to show up. Leaving me to get mauled by the lions. Approaching the dynamite for the second time, I try to get these tags from this single rat only for the rat to slam its body and tail against me like it's some kind of fucking Pokemon battle and make me bleed. So, out of rage, I decided to blow up the rats with me. The monster has quite literally started the entire bunker on fire as I grab the dynamite for the third time. But this time I actually escape and make it back to the safe house. Now halfway through the game, with the possession of the dynamite, I make my way to maintenance. I would salvage around the area for more materials only to be cornered and touched without consent by the monster. During testing off camera, I discovered that there is a flare trap down the hall to maintenance, so I used a chair to trigger the trap, then throw gasoline on a live fire to burn the corpse and keep rats away from maintenance. A random fire blocks my path to Arsenal, so I play with this 2x4 while I wait for the fire to go out. The monster once again starts the entire bunker on fire and the whole place somehow doesn't explode like a mini nuke. My friend sends me this on Discord. Now in maintenance, I place these loot boxes in front of this rigged door so that when I open it up, the grenade will explode all the contents out. This failed. Not only that, gas filled the room with the 2 gas canisters I need. So in the meantime, I stack a bunch of random shit on top of each other, while the monster lurks around the same hallway over and over. Getting the gas, I head upstairs and push the explosive barrel down the stairs, while I think of a plan on how to deal with the rat tunnels. Seeing the 2 sets of tunnel rats, I throw a fuel bottle at the fucking ceiling and then just decide to dump gas on the inside. Now trying to figure out a way to actually light the gas, or perhaps find some meat to get around them. I roll one of the 2 explosive barrels I know of down the hall with no main plan in mind, only to trigger a grenade trap. After running away and coming back, I got tired of hiding in the same spots and used this gas tank and barrel as cover. It didn't work. Back in maintenance, I pushed the second barrel down the stairs for no reason and used some meat from the locker room to throw at the rats in the tunnel. Turns out it attracted both groups, so I got to laying down gas. And get the key to the pillbox, only to actually find the locker with the gun inside, and not having the code for it. Frick you, Travers. After roaming around in the dark some more, I open up the pillbox door and kill a billion rats in the tunnel. After making as much noise as possible, I climb up the pillbox ladder and find the code to the wrench. I toyed around with the sniper outside and tossed every prop down the ladder while waiting for the monster to leave, only for the monster to jump scare me back up the ladder. Descending back down into the darkness, I find a single grenade, then walk directly into the monster. After reloading a checkpoint, I used the power of modern technology to open up the door to the wrench, and head to the prison to prep for the bolt cutters I will need to get into the Roman tunnels, only to then get spooked by the fire demon. Needing a fuse, I head into soldiers' quarters, wanting to find one in the locker. I find one and return to the prison to put the fuse in, then use this brick to open the wooden door. The monster once again attempts suicide and fails, but ends up blowing up yet another gas tank and filling the entire middle area with gas. Returning to base and putting this cart in a funny spot for future explorers to find, I turn on the generator for the first time and make haste to instantly shut off all the lights and return to the prison only for the gas to still be there, covering the front hall. I am forced to wait out the gas while being very afraid of the power shutting out, like what happened during my shell shock playthrough. Wow. Yeah. Good one. No.
No. Nope. 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 Nuh-uh. Nope. Ain't. No. 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 No.
No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. You.
No.
You can't.
No.
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 No. No. Luckily, the gas fades and I am able to grab the bolt cutters without issue and make haste back to base. The power shuts off and I take a moment to relax. Almost 3/4 done with the game. The irony of the minimum resources slider is that max traps is now where I get near infinite resources, near infinite supply of flares, grenades, and gas grenades. For fun, I would disarm many traps around the bunker and explore for more items of interest. I now make my way to the next location of interest, which is, of course, Arsenal. Now having the dynamite, I am 3/4 done with the game. The monster triggers literally every fucking trap in Arsenal and gives me a bit of a jump scare when he bursts into my room, leaves, comes back, that's me straight into the back rooms. At this point, you already know the drill. No point in repeating myself for the 8th time. After recollecting everything, I enter the Roman tunnels, where, on my first playthrough, I was expecting some heavy Amnesia the Dark Descent vibes, but instead encountered the world's easiest mini-boss. But in this playthrough, turned into genuinely one of the most terrifying, hardest, and to top it all off, stressful mini-bosses ever. This man has a shotgun that can send me straight back to the beginning of the game. Thinking the shotgunner is slow and stupid, I pulled the stupidest stunt through this entire playthrough. Nah, dude. Nah. Just show you. Chill out. What are you doing? Shooting like things around him. Are you literally stun locked on the piece of debris?
Let me
No.
show you what I have seen.
No.
You can't escape. No. It's all around us.
No.
We were the world, we were.
Oh my, please.
It all gets lost in the bloody twirl.
I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go.
What will come next around the bend? Maybe some kind of...
Stop.
More likely another wizard. Hide and seek is over.
Push it, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. The nightmare was nearly over. The shotgunner threatens me as I make my grand escape. I sprint back to base and prep the dynamite and charge, blowing a hole in the floor and entering the final section of the game. Don't take fall damage. The boss fight. I had no plan for this. I just rushed in and had complete focus. If the monster killed me now, I would be right back to square one. During the fight, PewDiePie's worst enemy, Barrels, was trying to hold the monster back, but the monster pressed forth. The grenade goes off, plummeting the monster down into the abyss and teleported to the shadow. The barrel sacrificed itself for me. Something I also once saw as an enemy is now my friend. The place begins to collapse as I make my haste to finally escape this hellish nightmare. I actually did it. I did it. Oh my god. I did it. Oh my. And that's freedom was mine. I did it. I think I'm the first to. I think I'm the first to do that. I did it. And there's the stats with all 7 deaths, 2 crats killed, 5 grenades, 26 generator refills. So it was counting every single rerun. 18 blackouts. Oh, I counted blackout every single time I spawned in and every single time I ran down those stairs at the start. That's awesome. And there's those stats. Holy crap. I have mastered the bunker. This is a pretty good time to address the elephant in the room. Yes, I was the first person to ever beat this game on this difficulty, or at least record it, but this can get much harder. I died almost a dozen times on this one playthrough. A real challenge would to be completing the entire game deathless with all the sliders maxed out. I used map knowledge and knowledge of codes to like progress through the game and not need to revisit certain areas. I await a challenger who's gonna do that glitchless. But until then, this is a pretty good achievement of mine. See y'all in the next video. Watch my other content for similar shit like this.